The Zyran flagship drifted silently through the swirling orange clouds of planet Erythra, its massive steel hull glinting in the twin sun's light as it descended slowly toward the crystalline cities below. In Captain Lurin, six-limbed, towering, and covered in iridescent scales that reflected the light like shattered glass, stood at the viewport, watching the world with a mixture of caution and awe. While the Cubs tumbled around the control deck, Zillow batting at a floating navigation device with wide, curious eyes, Nara chasing her tail, and Fex trying to climb the walls, their small bodies spilling into stacks of manuals and control panels as Lurin's deep, resonant voice echoed through the chamber. "Focus, today is observation only," he commanded, though the Cubs ignored him completely. Their attention drawn instead to the strange, soft objects scattered across the shuttle, objects they had never seen before. Objects that somehow seemed alive to them, and in the back of the shuttle, a small figure moved carefully among them. ELARA MYLES, copper hair, catching the light. Her eyes calm and steady, carrying a large, overflowing bag filled with scraps of fabric, thread, tiny tools, and glimmering materials of alien origin that none of the Zyrans had ever seen or imagined. And the Cubs, drawn by curiosity and instinct, immediately focused on the torn plush sky dragon that Zillow had carried everywhere since birth. The dragon's wing ripped during rough play, sending a wail so loud and piercing that it stopped even the hum of the engines, and Lurin, expecting disaster, rushed forward, prepared for a tantrum or injury, but found ELARA kneeling beside Zillow, her hands calm and precise as she said, "May I?" and Zillow, hesitant at first, slowly handed over his most prized possession, and ELARA took it gently, examining the tears, her fingers tracing the seams, and for hours she worked in silence, her hands moving with skill and care, stitching, reinforcing, adding tiny marks of honor along the dragon's wings, strengthening the seams and enhancing the beauty of the toy until it looked more magnificent than it ever had before. While Zillow watched in wide-eyed wonder, then pressed his forehead to hers in the highest sign of trust in XYRRAN culture. And Lirin, standing silently, could only click his mandibles softly, a sound of disbelief and amazement at what he had just witnessed. Because no human had ever done something like this, not with Cubs, not with sacred toys, not with creatures of this magnitude, and soon, word spread faster than hyperlight across the colony, reaching every shuttle, every vessel, every youngling who had ever lost a toy or treasured object, and Cubs arrived from neighboring ships, carrying torn plushes, fractured devices, broken keepsakes, each presented to ELARA with trust and anticipation, and she treated each one with reverence, studying alien materials, experimenting with new methods, inventing techniques, and finding ways to repair items that were considered impossible to fix, while the Cubs watched her with growing awe, learning from her patience and care, and soon, the Galactic Council had heard of her deeds, and beings from across the galaxy came to witness the human who had earned the trust of the fiercest predators. Crystalline Zentari, aquatic Morothi, morphing Vorlith, and even the ancient silent morphs, all curious to see the small human who could touch the hearts of their younglings and heal what they had thought lost forever. And in the Grand Council chamber, ELARA MYLES stood humbly as the eldest spoke. "Your work has achieved what centuries of diplomacy could not. You have united predator and human, young and old, across star systems. And you will hold the title of official Galactic Toy Whisperer, with all privileges and resources required to continue your sacred work." And ELARA blinked, feeling overwhelmed. "I just fix what is broken," she said softly. And a Vorlith representative added, "You fix what cannot be replaced. You remind all species that childhood and the things we love truly matter." And her words spread across the chamber, echoing through the hearts of the observers, reminding them of the simple truth that no matter how vast the galaxy, no matter how dangerous the worlds, no matter how strong the predators, the love for something small and cherished never fades. And the entire council felt a quiet, shared understanding. As if the galaxy itself had paused to honor the smallest acts of care, her workshop grew, expanding into the hall of harmonized play. Stretching across 3 star systems, a place where cubs, humans, and beings of every shape and form came to learn, repair, and connect. Zilonari. Infects visiting often, their trust in humans absolute, their eyes wide with excitement as they watched ELARA work. And across the galaxy, laughter and joy spread through ships and embassies. Soft cries of wonder echoing from nurseries and training halls alike, and ELARA, copper hair catching starlight, continued her work, carefully preparing her next spool of thread, ready for the next toy, the next cub, the next story that needed to be stitched into the fabric of the universe. Because every child deserves their treasure, and every treasure deserves its hero. And somewhere between stars, between battles and councils, even the hardest warriors paused, softened, and remembered. Because a human had shown them that the smallest act of care could ripple across galaxies, touch the fiercest hearts, and unite creatures across species in ways no weapon or law ever could. And ELARA simply smiled, ready to continue one stitch at a time, knowing that somewhere out there, a cub held a toy she had fixed, and the universe felt just a little warmer, just a little kinder, and just a little more whole, because in every universe, in every galaxy, in every starlit corner, children exist, and children's treasures matter, and ELARA MYLES would make sure they were never forgotten. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe to Neon Cub Tales. Hit the like button, leave a comment down below, and share this video with your friends so they can experience the magic too. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a story. Because every cub, every toy, and every adventure deserves to be celebrated. And together, we can explore the wonders of the galaxy, one tale at a time.